Today it is time to look at a professional match, a Zerg versus Protoss on the map Hardwire. In the upper right, with the red hatchery, it is the Zerg player, Dark. And his Protoss opponent in the bottom left with the blue probes, one of which already out on the map. It is ShoWTimE. ShoWTimE, indeed, versus Dark. Who shall prevail? On Hardwire as well, the map of Mech. But there are no Terrans here. No siege tanks for you to hide behind. However, there is a Protoss, ladies and gents. Need I remind you, Protoss can benefit from a very defensive map as well. However, unlike Terran, most of their, let's go with special forces for that case, are in the air. I would not be surprised if we saw multiple Stargates on this map. The map lends itself to those more defensive focused strategies simply because it's just so easy to take multiple bases. You don't have to really work as hard to get up to that fourth base and defend those entryways. We'll see what actually happens though. Could be getting very far ahead of myself here. ShoWTimE is going to take that natural nexus before the core. Start completing that wall off. The hatch block was successful. Dark forced to take his second base at the third location. Going to remedy that fact right away though. Now we're just having mineral shenanigans. We won't really know what's happening with the game until that core is done, barring some crazy speedling flood from Dark or an early Roach Warren, which I wouldn't expect. I mean, I wouldn't put it past Dark, but I'm not so sure I expect it right now. Adept starts up, but no warp gate because it's a Stargate opener. Very common to see warp gate delayed so that you can have that extra gas to get the Stargate up just a little bit quicker. Will it be for Phoenix? I doubt it. Oracle? I hope. Void Ray? Maybe. Probably. Probably the case. Probe comes back from its adventure on the other side of the map. What is this? A couple scouting lings also make their way over here. The Adept stayed at home though, just patrolling around, going to sit in the wall. So nobody has told her that this part is actually open and it's not really a wall yet. But she can dream. We'll let her be. It is going to be a Void Ray from the Stargate. Who could have seen that coming? Who knew? Stargate opener. The Void Ray likely going to just be used to clear out Overlords initially. Maybe more will be made? No, okay, it's an Oracle. Phew. Alright, very good. So this Overlord is about to be in a world of laser-flavored pain. He's gone. Actually supply blocking Dark for just a brief few seconds, who is happily droning. Completely unfazed by the Void Ray. Spore Crawlers coming up. Just one in each mineral line. Not in each. Gonna skip the natural, it looks like. Why? Why skip the natural, you ask? Great question. Well, where are your queens going to be? Because the Spore Crawlers, very helpful to deal with things at least until the queens get there. If you have your queens moving back and forth between the bases, odds are they're going to be near the natural, so you might not need a Spore Crawler in the natural. Bit of a gamble though. I would not recommend that if you are a newer player, or maybe not as experienced, not as comfortable, or haven't yet learned the value of having 14 queens for defensive purposes, of course. Revelation going to be used. No kills on the Oracle, has not gone for either the Pulsar Beam or the Stasis, just flying around, being annoying. And speaking of annoying, second Stargate. For more Void Rays? Oh, yes. Alright, more Void Rays. We are going straight to air toss. Even +1 air weapons is on the way, but there's also a Robo coming. Will the Robo just be used for supporting units? Maybe some splash damage. We might see Colossi. Disruptors, more likely, I would think. Dark, probably. I'm not sure how he's feeling. I don't know the emotional state, but at the very least, you know you're not in danger of dying in the next few minutes. Able to take that 4th hatch fleet beacon on the way. Whew. Well, I don't know if you brought a beverage or a snack, but you might want to pause and go get one because it is going to be that kind of game, ladies and gents, boys and girls. There's also a Robo coming. Robo Bay, excuse me. We already have a Robo. While the Void Rays doing their dancing, they're patrolling around, just keeping things in check. The Oracle committing emotional damage, trauma onto the Zerg. Revelation, of course, is what I'm talking about. Now that we know the game is in full Sky Toss swing, what is Dark's response? What is Dark thinking? How about 6-minute hive? Ooh, that is nice. Okay. Don't know if you had 6-minute hive on the bingo card, but you can check it off if you did. Also, an interesting choice is pathogen glands. Increases the starting energy of infestors so that they can cast fungal right away as they come out of the egg. Or you can save it up and go for neural parasite or microbial shroud, of course. Oracle finally getting some damage done here. Infestor's going to be a key unit for Dark, it seems, wanting to combat the Sky Toss. I would love to see Neural, because then I can make the joke of he's going to fight Sky Toss with Sky Toss. Infestors are coming. No neural parasite just yet, though. I have to wait and see what the actual plan is. Queen production has been constant. He has hit 14 queens and going even higher. Definitely a choice you can make to try and combat the Sky Toss style if you're comfortable, if you're confident with queens. If not, though, might I suggest a metric ton of corruptors. Absolute ton of them. This is the perfect PvZ game. It's been almost 8 minutes and virtually nothing has happened. Oracle gets some damage done, just being annoying. 6 kills already. All drones. We've only had 6 drone deaths, so I'm going to have to guess that it's all on that Oracle. Ultralisk Cavern. Dark loves this. Definitely a good option. Get some Ultralisks to get under the Sky Toss, because one of the key units for the Protoss force is usually High Templar, or splash damage, I should say, more generally. It looks like the choice for ShoWTimE might be a combination of Archons and Disruptors, though. He's got 2 Disruptors. How many carriers are we looking at? Just 3. Not producing any more, though. And getting both charge and +1 ground weapons. So I don't think this is going to be a full-blown Sky Toss game. I think ShoWTimE is doing a little bit of both, it feels. He's got the bulk of his army in these Void Rays and these carriers, but he's also adding on a lot of Zealots and Archons. What does Dark respond with? He's morphing a lot of Banes. They do have Bane speed as well as upgrades, and the queen count is massive. 16 queens are here with energy. ShoWTimE pushing forward. The Banes trying to get some damage done. Disruptor shots do go forward. Microbial Shroud is used. Don't tell anybody. We're not supposed to talk about that spell. Some Zealots find Zerglings on the other side, while the main army's squaring off over here on the left. Zerglings get the jump on the Disruptors. They're going to be picked off. Warp Prism also caught in a fungal. Beautifully played from Dark. Catching the disruptors, catching the warp prism limits ShoWTimE's options. He might want to back off. Splash damage is minimal now, and without the warp prism you have no way to bring in more reinforcements. Is this Dark's time though? Do you go forward with Ling Bane? Come on, more Banes than that. Give me some more Banes, Dark. Zealots moving around the left side. Will they catch the Zerglings? They do catch the Zerglings, as well as catching this group over here. Banes, they don't care though. They're rolling forward into the Zealots. Not going to get much farther though. Void Rays did respond in time. This group did deal with the Zealots. Now it's just waiting, just biding its time. Lings caught. Punch are getting vaporized by the Void Rays, unfortunately. Still no Neural? Damn, still no Neural. I would love to see Neural. With ShoWTimE favoring more ground-based composition, we've got Immortal production coming up now. I'm not actually sure how well Dark's composition is going to work out. Ultra's notorious for getting tripped up on things in these ground-to-ground engagements. Cannon going to be picked off. Tried to get some damage done here, but the Stalker in the wall acting beautifully. Void Rays wrapping around the far right side. Prismatic Beam aligned on the Hive, and it goes down. Goodbye, Hive. Parasitic Bomb is used. Good split. Catches one with the Fungal, though. Meanwhile, the rest of the Protoss forces engaged in the center with the Creep, of course, the most dangerous of Zerg threats. Wouldn't want those Creep tumors getting away now, would you? No, of course not. Probes pulled, Banelings rolling right by the Stalker, deciding to instead go for the static defenses. Gets a pylon, couple cannons, a battery. Nothing too major, though. Where do we go from here? Army compositions. Still just the 4 carriers, it looks like. Added a lot of Immortals. Just suddenly, 6 Immortals. I like it. Very good. Archon, Immortal. It's a sort of sky toss. I could say Void Rays and carriers, but that sounds so inefficient, right? What do we got here? The Zergling Ultralisk hit squad, realizing that they don't actually know where they want to go. Do I want to hit this base? No, there's a cannon there. What about this one? No, there's also a cannon there. So how about instead we just run right by the Protoss forces? What is going on here? Excuse me? 5 Dropper Lords? Now Dark's trying to hide it. Zerg forces catch a very unfortunate Stalker. And are you doing a Ling drop? Just 3. Don't want to go for the full 5. The other 2 are decoys through emotional support. Warp Prism, ready to do some damage in the main base if the need arises. And now ShoWTimE, shifting everything around. This presents a good opportunity for Dark. Single Stalker. The harassment force we never expected, of course. Meanwhile, though, the real battle is here. Ling drop into the main base. Zealots warped in to respond. Nothing going on over there. Few probes picked off. Ling's burrow in the main base. Zealot's gonna move right on past them. Dark might be able to just store those for a later moment. Behind this, he is getting double Spire, a good way to try and combat the Voids and the carriers. Do you want to go Mutas to deal with the Void Rays? Maybe. The Bane squad rolling in here. Does connect with a few probes. Might be able to get a few more if they can get past the Zealots. Some probes are pulled away, others not so fortunate. 11 going to die off in total. And 38 more Lings in production here. This group unburrows, picks off an impressive amount of probes very quickly. They are going to be cleaned up though. Void Rays, get a hold of this hatchery. Not able to completely clean it up though. Meanwhile, the ground force moving along the right side does Dark Split to respond. Neural Parasite on Void Rays. Excuse me? I didn't even know he got Neural. I wasn't paying attention anymore. Voids fighting voids. What an impressive state of existence. Meanwhile, the force over here, Archon Immortal, under pressure by Ultralisk and Banelings. Storm onto the Archon. I hear more Neurals. Don't know where they were though. Ah, the Void Ray, of course. Sends it right into the pack of queens. Is now really the best time to push forward, ShoWTimE? I'm not so sure about this. Good storms onto the Banelings, unfortunately not good enough. The rest do connect, and the carriers, they might want to retreat. Not quick enough. Neural Parasite goes out onto all 4 carriers, and now the queens can get them unhindered. The Neural Parasite. Very good. Love it. Absolutely love the response. Neural onto Void Rays. I don't see that one too often. I expected it on the carriers, but not on the Void Rays. Masterfully played. Unfortunately, though, he did lose this hatchery, and Vinny, the Void Ray here, able to... No, he can't see it. He can't see it, but he might be able to get it if he tries and believes hard enough. Blinding Cloud, used against Stalkers, a very good counter. Unfortunately, Ultralisks kind of push them right out of the cloud, though. Is it enough? The Infestors are seen by the observer feedback used on one of them. The Ultralisks absolutely running rampant through these bases. They are ravenous. They don't even care that they can't fit through all these alleyways. Why would you? I'm an Ultralisk. Neural onto a Stalker. I don't believe I've ever seen a Neural on a Stalker. The Void Ray, you know what? I admit I like it. The Stalker, I'm not so sure about that one. I don't think that's really worth it. Back to Neuraling the carriers, though. Definitely going to be good for the Zerg player here. Ultralisk still running rampant, though. The only anti-air was technically the carriers. There are no queens here. The Infestors Neuraling the carriers to try and kill carriers. Definitely admirable, but probably not the most efficient way to go about it. So instead, the Ultralisk's going to turn around, hightail it over to this 5 o'clock base. Let the probes go, though. We are merciful Ultralisks, of course. ShoWTimE looking like he is just fed up with this business. After losing 3 bases and getting neuraled repeatedly, I think I might say I would be fed up too. Might be a little angry, but is it the smartest idea to then rush headlong onto the creep into the pack of microbial shrouded queens? Good fungals too. Fungal growth on the interceptors. Doesn't kill most of them, but does kind of pin them in place for the queens. What do you even call a group of Ultralisks? Is it a herd? A pack? A gang? A gaggle? Who knows? Whatever you can call them, it's a bit deadly. Dangerous, even. Carriers, still running, very uncontested in here. Fungal growth used mostly to just delay and try and turn them away, though. There's not a whole lot of opportunity to kill them. Sadly, without the neural, the queens just can't get under them. What a game, you two. The neurals, though. I think I might have to make that into a thumbnail. That was too good. Void Rays fighting Void Rays. That just has a nice ring to it. Lings wrapping around the far right side. Meanwhile, ShoWTimE trying to take arguably one of the most dangerous bases you possibly could. You can practically see the creep from this little ledge here. Does he move everything into position? What's in the Warp Prism? 2 Templar. Do they have energy for Storm? Oh no, more Neurals. Neural Parasite used across the gap. great storm onto the queens. Do they really care though, or did they bring their umbrellas? Microbial Shroud and Abduct used again. Neural on the carriers. Ultralisks getting under the carriers, trying to fight the Immortals. The Queens did pick off those that were unfortunate enough to get abducted. And the Ultra Ling combo finally breaking through. This base is absolutely trashed. The base up top, trashed. Dark, gonna take the game. Some masterful play with the neural parasites, I must say. Very entertaining. If you enjoyed, be sure to let me know in the comments below, guys. Thank you for watching. As always, I hope you have a great day.